So great to see you.
So great to see you. I have missed you
Oh,
and I'm happy to be on this call.
likewise, likewise. It's so good to see you. Well, I just would love to have you share a little bit about your experience inside the embodied feminine woman. So to start with, share with me a little bit, where were you at before joining the program? What kind of men were you calling in? What really brought you to join the course?
So before the program, um, I had been involved in three very similar, I wouldn't even call them relationships, but like failed love interests where um there was a lot of breadcrumbing and rejection and just like inconsistency, and it was very interesting to me that it was three men in a row, like the last three love interests that I had were just similar behaviors, and i I knew it had to mean something. And um it was definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to do some more work, and I had been following you on Instagram for a while, and it just felt like the right thing to do. And then as for just my emotional world and how I was feeling, I was also feeling just powerless, and I was very anxious about finding a partner, and I felt like I wanted to experience being okay on my own, just that, and just feel more whole on my own.
I see. And so the main theme was a pattern of attracting men who were breadcrumbing, inconsistent. Would you say
Yeah.
like available, or what, anything else about that pattern that stood out?
They were just men who were not interested in a relationship. They were men who wanted to engage with me and maybe even go on trips and of course be intimate and of course spend time together, but we would never have meaningful conversations about the future. And when we did, um, I would get hurt. I would I would get hurt, and it just, that consistency, that beautiful intention of building something real wasn't there.
And so inside the program, we take at least 2 months to really dive into healing, inner child healing. I'm curious, what stood out for you in those first 2 months of inner work? Anything where like you saw the root of some of these patterns? What was that for you?
So much stood out for me. I I've I've always been someone interested in my inner world, and I always felt like I had done a lot of work, but I never did something as intensive and deep and committed as this. I feel like the program and the way it's planned for us is, it just, there's something about it. I guess the pacing and then just the strategy, everything that you put together, I do feel like the results are very different from like treating random things or random feelings or like talking to your therapist every now and then, or this just felt um like looking at everything. This was like looking at every single thing, every single wound, and studying all these love cracks, all these moments in my timeline and where they come from. And I just, it was very surprising to find new memories, just like connect with things that I didn't remember, I didn't think about before about my childhood, or give different meanings, or just find out more about traumas and wounds that I knew I had, but just seeing them in a different way. Um, it was all just very revealing. Um, it was very revealing.
And did it make sense how you had been attracting men from those unhealed wounds? Like once you got into the work?
Yeah, it made perfect sense. it made perfect sense. It helped me see how I would make decisions from a wounded place and
Hmm.
how my little girl would make decisions. And I got to just kind of look back at my life and see what those decisions were and the importance of healing my inner little girl, because not only did those decisions lead me to very painful places, but also very dangerous places. So I really was confronted with the urgency of needs to change. This has to change now. Um and it was just beautiful to see the root of everything and see my wounded little girl and kind of learn how and when she's activated, how she acts, the type of things that she'll do. Just be aware of it all so that I can see when it's happening.
Hmm.
Before I just didn't know.
Um, and so once you got into the third month and started dating, I'm curious, how was that experience for you?
Um, it was very interesting because it almost felt like dating for the first time. Because you just receive so much knowledge and you have all this new world ahead of you with like new knowledge and new ideas and new ways of approaching things and yeah, everything is new. So it was just exciting to try everything that I had learned and to see it work. I was just very surprised. I was very surprised because I just saw it work in such random, obvious ways. Um,
Tell me what,
like
yeah, what did that look like?
yeah, like for example, I had this one man that I started dating, who would say things like, "Oh, I had this feeling like I never met someone that I wanted to protect more."
Oh,
And
wow.
to me, that was like, wow, like this polarity, like it's important. It's here. Like the polarity that Vanessa talks about is really making this man feel like he wants to step up as a healthy masculine man and protect me. He has a very strong inclination towards that. And he even once said something like, I have this feeling about you, like there's something, I don't know what it is, it's gonna sound corny, but it's like the divine feminine. He literally said that. He's like, I feel like I can sense this like divine feminine thing about you. And I'm like, Vanessa would love to hear this.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, that's the power of doing the inner work. So many women will complain about their dating life and not attracting high caliber men. And when we're dating from, that energy where you were talking about you were in before the inner work, right? That inner void, that emptiness, that not taking responsibility around our emotional fulfillment, our dating life is just going to mirror it back to us. And you did, I just want to emphasize for any woman listening, how committed you were for the 2 months. And not every woman comes into the program and is able to sustain that level of commitment. Some, are just not at that place, and she has to look at her shadow and integrate that on a deeper level. But your level of commitment was so inspiring, and it really showed through the results you got once you got into the month of dating.
Yeah, I feel like um I took a while. Like I felt like I was often behind and I felt like it took me longer even than most of the other women in the program because I had a lot of work to do. I had a lot of traumas.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you remember one of the things that I felt was like, oh, can I do this? Am I too broken? Can I maybe not achieve what I'm trying to achieve here? Is it too much? And it was just beautiful to see that the work was enough and that it was so beautiful. And I just kept going, and I kind of followed your lead and your encouragement when I felt like maybe I was too broken, and just kept going, and to see the results, and see how life-changing this experience has been for me. It's something that I'm very happy about, and grateful for, because I know I'll always use these tools. Like whenever I'm anxious or triggered, or it's something that I will have forever. And it's that one thing that I was looking for, just that ability to be whole on my own, and like hold myself through everything, and being here for it. And that's something that I'll always have, no matter what happens. So
And are you open to sharing about your current relationship and the man that you've called in?
yes.
Well, with?
So I started dating, and I was really focused on building that healthy rotation, and going on different dates and having different experiences. But there was this one man that really stood out, because funny enough, he was like everything that I like. Just like everything that I've been attracted to, and everything that, just like all my nice to haves, like um just it's like my friends joked about it, like it's like you designed him. It's like you because it really was so wonderful. And what I focused on, with your help at the time, I remember, was to just keep my dating rotation, and to just observe, and kind of keep that healthy pacing, and not jump right in. And that's what I've been doing. I've been just observing, and getting to know him, and it's been such a beautiful process. He's passed every single test, and we're in a committed relationship now, that I'm very happy about. He's just so sweet, and so supportive, and so respectful, so kind. Just the type of man that I feel deserves what I have to share.
Hmm. And I'm curious your level, because I know you did so much work around overcoming trauma with the masculine, and what would you say is now your level of like sense of safety and trust with this man, given everything that you've been through in the past?
So it's been very interesting, because I, of course, got triggered a lot, especially at the beginning, with different things. Like the first time we went on a trip together, I was scared that it was too much. He was going to see too much of me, or just like different moments in our first interactions, and of us getting closer, that would trigger me. And I just had to do the work, and just sit, and soothe myself, and do my check-in, and tell myself what my scared little girl wants to hear, um, and then act, if necessary, from a wiser, more calm place. Sometimes needed, sometimes not even needed to say anything. But when I've had to share, when I've wanted to share things with him, he's been very open, and supportive, and kind, and I haven't been triggered lately. It's been a bit since I've had any triggers with them, because I do feel very safe
Hmm.
with them, and it's something that I appreciate. But when I did get triggered, I it was just nice to know what was happening. It was nice to just have that awareness of, oh, this is a trigger, and this is what it means, and this is what my little girl needs right now, and this is what I'm going to do. Just knowing what to do. was something that I appreciated. And yeah, it was a great practice because it's one thing to learn all the theory and know what you got to do and do it on your own, and then just being in these situations or being with him and like having to self-regulate in the bathroom or or situations like that when I just know like, oh, I just have to breathe, and yeah, just putting things into practice and in the real world in a real situation. It made me feel very, very proud of the work and just very glad that I learned all these tools.
And my one last question, I'm curious, given your experience now, how would you describe the healthy masculine to women who are wondering, like, well, how do I recognize this in a man?
Well, I had no idea what the healthy masculine was like before the program, clearly. And I was attracted to the opposite. Um, but now I know that it is somebody who is safe,
Hmm.
somebody who's safe, somebody who is a protector. It's what the healthy masculine is supposed to be. It he's a protector, and he's healthy enough and open enough to want to protect. And also I feel like the level of inspiration that a man has, that a man with an open heart has, is completely different. um I wasted a lot of time in my life trying to figure out like, oh, does this guy like me? What does this mean? Is what is trying to like translate texts or behaviors or just all these doubts. And it's like when you're with a man that's like the healthy masculine embodied, you just don't doubt as much because
You don't question it, right? He's so
no,
clear, his actions, right, are,
just fills everything up, and you have almost no space to doubt
oh, that's,
because putting enough energy forward. He's texting you enough, he's given enough, he's doing enough, and it feels safe, and I can relax and I can just be, and I don't have to perform, or I don't have to be a detective all the time, or um, I can just relax and be in my feminine.
oh, I love the way you describe that. So beautiful. Definitely the embodied experience. So beautiful. Well, anything else you want to share, or anything you'd share to women who are on the fence about joining, worried about the investment? What would you say to them?
I would say that this is a before and after life changing experience, and it's definitely worth the investment. It's worth the effort. It's very deep work. I was very surprised at how deep this work really is. I had done similar courses online in the past with like coaches and in a similar space who talk about similar subjects, but I feel like this is the real deal. Like this is the work. This is like really going deep in in everything that needs to be healed. And it's also been so beautiful to do it within a community. That was another thing that I really enjoyed, because it is difficult. It's shadow work, right? But I felt so supported and just not alone through it, and just so inspired by other women doing the same thing, and also by your dedication, Vanessa. You're extremely dedicated. I love how somebody has a question and you just send them like a 12-minute voice note all day. You're just doing that for girls. And it's just like, it's so beautiful how passionate you are and how much you share of yourself in the program. Um, because it just makes us feel supported and really just really not alone and held through something that's difficult and life-changing. It's an important moment in our lives. So it's just great to do it with this much dedication and support.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me to hear that. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Of course, of course.